this is the world in some years that I don't even know anymore. The story is that people have discovered that a person's soul can be materialized. This guy creates a club. This girl creates armor, and many other abilities. People call it ARA and divide it into levels. From then on, the ARA level became the standard for evaluating a person, and our main character, Jin Sung, only owns ARA level F, called the loser of the Naval High School. At this moment, a match is taking place in the school. A student is surrounded by many people, but he shows a confident smile. He calls out his giant iron axe ARA, raises the axe high and contemptuously says, "People of grade 11, do you only have this little courage? Try harder." Facing that attack, the white-shirt student summons a light stick to respond, but the difference in level makes him immediately overwhelmed. He turns his head to call a bespectacled student nearby. Jin Sung is still standing there watching. "Come on, withdraw." Miss Ji-sung stood still embarrassedly. "Even if I rush up, I can't help at all. You guys keep fighting." The white shirt was furious, cursing green beans. "Rama, useless Jin Sung later, after the match I will settle with you." After that, as he said, Jin Sung was beaten up badly, but he still laughed, "Haha, sorry nah. But as you guys said, relying on someone at the bottom of the school like me, what's the use?" The white shirt became even angrier, cursing and punching Jin Sung straight in the face. "A level F guy like you lives to waste oxygen?" The moment the fist was thrown out, Jin Sung dodged to one side. "You say I should die is a bit too much? I give up and it's not okay." But school violence never ends easily like that. The bullies did not let go but continued to rush to Ji-sung's place. Good guys don't see the truth. In Front of 36 Strategies to Escape is the top book, but because the opponent is too crowded, he quickly gets beaten up. Everyone feels ashamed to be in the same class as a loser like you, even the right to talk they do not allow. Just then, the homeroom teacher walked in and everyone sat down in their seats. "Today I have extremely good news that needs to be announced." The whole class buzzed until the homeroom teacher said, "Our school has finally been recognized by the government. From today on, it will become a pilot school for the military system. The rank of each person will depend on their ARA strength. Each class is also divided into 10 squads, each squad for a squad leader to manage." Jin Sung asked the teacher, "What if you don't want to follow military style?" He immediately frowned and said, "The school does not force it. If anyone does not want it can transfer schools." Jin Sung, you take this opportunity to think carefully whether or not to transfer schools. Go then after that." The teacher hugged a box and started walking. Issuing military ranks for all members in the class, squad leaders received corporal ranks. Most of the rest were private first class, which is also the lowest rank in the pilot system. This time however, Jin Sung waited forever without seeing his homeroom teacher issue his military rank. He raised his hand to ask and found out that he was the only student in school who could not get a military rank. From now on he must level up from an ordinary rookie. Jin Sung frowned. "Do you have to treat me specially?" The homeroom teacher divided the class into 3 squads and squad leaders began reporting their team stats. Squad 1 has 10 people full, Squad 2 has enough people, while Jin Sung still doesn't understand. Clearly at an age of eating and playing age, not even a military school, but what are they doing? The homeroom teacher was frustrated. Why hasn't anyone reported from Squad 3 yet? Under the urging of the teacher, the blonde squad leader of Squad 3 helplessly reported, a total of 10 people missing 2, 1 person going to the bathroom, 1 person left. "I hope he disappears." This made the whole class laugh. Everyone understands that the blonde wants to disappear from sight. It is Park Ji-sung. The level F teacher saw this, but didn't bother to stop the students. Then he announced, "Today, we will start the first lesson in the military system. The squads will compete with each other. This is considered a skill demonstration for military supervisors to evaluate." Jin Sung clenched his fists with determination. he would kill time by watching the match. But suddenly the homeroom teacher asked the blonde, "Is your ARA level C?" The blonde frowned and didn't want to answer. In this world, ARA is divided into high and low levels, so their strength also varies greatly. The lowest is F like our main character here, and the highest is S, accompanied by high-level ARA comprehensive combat ability. But if the ability to use ARA is poor, it's also ruined. At this time, the homeroom teacher asked the blonde, "What level is your comprehensive combat ability?" He shouted, "Why does the teacher ask so carefully? No matter who the opponent is, I will definitely win." The homeroom teacher approached happily and said, "Well then good, because the first team to compete is your squad. The opponent is Squad 1 of grade 12. Hearing this news, the blonde panicked. Grade 11 fighting grade 12 is already unfair, but now it's even Squad 1 of grade 12. Classmates, hearing this then teased them to go up. Squad 3, don't do any cow tricks that lose your life. Carry that level F straight ha. Jin Sung was annoyed, thinking he could rest. Who would have thought that he would have to compete with grade 12? And the blonde glared at him, "Hey you rubbish, are you calling me?" The corporal only saw the blonde grabbing Jin Sung's hair. "Shut up you idiot, your barking makes me go crazy. Because of a level F guy like you, our team is about to lose." Their opponent is Squad 1 of grade 12, in which there is a senior as strong as a monster. Even if the whole class rushes up together, it's hard to beat him. Jin Sung showed a forced smile. "Anyway, I can't fight. Whether I'm there or not, isn't the result still the same?" But the blonde grabbed his neck and yelled, "I'd rather fight to the end than give up like a loser like you. Can you take responsibility if my evaluation score decreases?" Jin Sung turned his face away coldly. "I don't think your score is very high anyway, why be afraid of being deducted points, blonde?" Frustrated enough to tear his hair out because today he had to go on stage so he couldn't beat Jin Sung like usual. Just saw him smile sinisterly and pat Jin Sung's head. "Well then let me arrange a task for a loser like you nah, be my meat shield, got it yet rubbish?" The match was about to begin. Considering the difference in combat ability between grades 12 and 11. Grade 11 only needs to persevere for 5 minutes and will win. But no one expects that result. The teacher shouted once and the match officially began. The blonde immediately pulled up his meat shield. His plan was very simple. The entire Squad 3 will protect him for 5 minutes while this meat shield has a high chance of success. But grade 12 was very strong, so they quickly overwhelmed the game. One move defeats one person. At this time a senior jumped into midair, piercing through everyone with her main target being the meat shield. That guy blonde scared his soul flew away. He grabbed Jin Sung. "No matter what, you have to cover for me, okay?" Jin Sung turned his head and suggested that blonde run in another direction because this way will definitely get hit. The homeroom teacher saw this and gave him a thumbs up. "I said I would give you a transfer, Jin Sung. Do you want a transfer?" This homeroom teacher is also too annoying. The blonde left the meat shield to deal with the senior, while he ran away. The senior thought they had planned beforehand, so she jumped up and grabbed Jin Sung. He leaned over and patted the hand of the senior who was reaching out. In a moment, their eyes met briefly. The senior saw the murderous intent in Jin Sung's eyes, instinctively telling her to immediately start ARA armor. Seeing the armor, Jin Sung was amazed and praised, "Senior wearing it not only handsome but also very cool." The senior glared and said, "Don't pretend to be stupid anymore. Wasn't it just now that you avoided my attack? Do it again now." Jin Sung was annoyed and wondered why he was targeted. Then pointed towards the blonde who was running away. "Senior, our squad leader has run away." The senior's power turned around. Jin Sung saw that there were still 3 seconds left on the clock. He gritted his teeth and complained, "Never felt time passing so slowly. Anyway, I have to think of a way to stall for time. Now I have to find some topic to talk about. Sister, can I call you Nona? Don't misunderstand, I'm not harassing you. Are you angry now or should I still call you senior? The senior lost patience and interrupted. Don't try to prolong the time, quickly take out your ARA. Jin Sung still wanted to be shameless for a while. Everyone says meeting is fate, cultivating for 100 years before sharing a path, cultivating for 1,000 years before sharing a road, or should we introduce each other? The senior cracked her knuckles and announced that if he still didn't display ARA then there would be no more chance left. Quickly use your ARA. Among these people only he seemed to have some value. Jin Sung waved his hand at her hastily. What's the point of that? The most important thing when being human is relaxation and letting go. Seeing that the senior had turned red-eyed towards him, Jin Sung sweated profusely and accepted to display ARA. The senior immediately entered her head and realized that this young man wasn't the level F in the school legend. Jin Sung also unabashedly said, that's right, I am indeed the famous level F here. You even exaggeratedly said don't underestimate this knife like that. Within normal short swords it is also considered level S already. The senior angrily turned around and left without bothering to look at his reaction speed. I thought it was a strong guy but it turned out to be just luck. But how could you let her go? You have to take advantage of every opportunity to stall for time. Wait a minute, senior, clearly you told me to display ARA. Why are you so disappointed now? Her teacher still doesn't care. He clenched his fists and declared, if you don't turn around I will sneak attack. The senior turned around and looked down on him. This is real combat. I don't have time to care about level F guys like you. Just as two sisters saw Jin Sung's short sword rushing towards him. This surprised her and she hurriedly raised her hand to block. After the short sword and armor collided no one moved anymore. Jin Sung said, haha, armor is as sturdy as it looks, nah. The senior didn't want to pay attention to Jin Sung stalling for time so she turned around and left. Jin Sung saw that he had done this step already, surely he had also extended some time. He looked at his watch and saw that there were almost 2 minutes left. The blonde didn't expect it would be his turn so soon. He cursed at the useless ones. You guys can't last 5 minutes? The senior approached again and said, you always run around everywhere criticizing them? Don't extend your own time. The blonde tried to wriggle. Senior, isn't I giving way to you? Can't you stand aside obediently? Do you have to go looking everywhere like that? Senior sister pursed her lips, looking down on me. You don't have to give way to me. Then she stepped forward, proving your worth. The blonde stepped back, then stepped on a rock, or more precisely, a corner of the rock. She gave an evil smile. If you want to see it, then I'll show you. As she acted, Jin Sung suddenly felt something was wrong. It turned out that the blonde had always hidden her true ARA rank. He hurriedly reminded his senior sister to be careful and dangerous. Immediately afterwards, the blonde lifted a huge rock under her feet very lightly. Her Anya is level B, not level C. Its name is Lifting Dance, which can lift any object from the ground and use it as an attacking prop. Senior sister understood that she was not just running away, but was running while looking for attacking tools. The blonde threw the stone at the older sister, this time using her as a sacrifice to prove my value. The 12th grade is just a straw, and victory belongs to us. At this moment, a cold voice rang behind her, disturbing the 11th grader a bit. The voice was too familiar, causing her to sweat profusely. Before reacting, she was crushed to the ground. She cursed, okay, it's 12th grade now. Why do you still like to sneak attack so conveniently? This isn't Sung Ho, the captain of Squad 1. He didn't care and quickly went to where the older sister was straining her hips to support the stone. It was very heavy, but she thought her Anya could definitely bear it. At this moment 7 sounds will surely catch you. It rang coldly and made her stunned. Then the stone was thrown aside. My older sister did not expect that sumo would save her. She questioned him, this is originally a good opportunity to prove my value, why did you come to stop me? Squad leader Sumo calmly replied, "This attack is a bit dangerous. I have an obligation to protect members of the team in any situation." My older sister's face became serious. "Do you think I can't solve it by myself?" Sumo was still very calm. "I know you can solve it by yourself, but that guy won't stand still." Young-ho continued to use his ARA on the blonde who was preparing for a sneak attack from behind, causing her to fall heavily. Young-ho's ARA is this skill. Once it is displayed, it will definitely catch the opponent. He also has an A-level comprehensive combat ability and is the strongest student in the school. Jin Sung looked at this scene and felt that the squad leader was too miserable, but he suddenly felt that he was being stared at by someone's scary eyes. Staring intently, Sung-ho was calling, "Hey there, 11th grader standing over there." Jin Sung got goosebumps and surrendered quickly. Young-ho asked, "Before that guy used ARA, did you remind Rue to be careful? Did you realize the intention of the blonde?" Jin Sung said that the blonde was quite cunning and decisive. Maybe she would play some villainous tricks. Young-ho could believe this sentence. He grabbed Jin Sung's collar and dropped the short knife, but after creating a perfect angle, it fell accurately into Jin Sung's right hand. He yelled decisively, "When others speak, they have to listen." At the same time he swung a slash to break free from Sumo. Sumo's eyes were cold and asked who he was. Jin Sung said again that he was a level F rookie and kept looking at his watch in a hurry. Young-ho understood that the young man intended to delay time. This is what he hates most, so he said that students with poor performance in confrontations will be expelled this time. Jin Sung only understood why the class teacher showed that expression just now. He didn't want to transfer schools, so he decided to fight with Sung-ho. That was also when his strength surged. He said, "If I fight with my senior in front of me, maybe I still have a chance." At this moment, he could hear his own heartbeat. Although ARA is still at level F as a short sword, a voice rang in his head. His physical strength has tripled, and he can see the weaknesses and ARA of his opponent. Within his own capabilities, he can find the fastest way to defeat his opponent. This is the ARA that Jin Sung has always hidden, a real killer with an S-level ARA rank. Once used, there is no way to stop it unless the opponent is killed or their ARA is destroyed. Jin Sung became full of a murderous aura, completely different from himself just a minute ago. At this moment, Sung-ho realized that Jin Sung's level F short sword was not all. This guy's strength is not simple at all. Ji Sung just looked and clearly saw Sung-ho's ARA and abilities. He despised, "Level B? I didn't expect your abilities to be so poor." Sung-ho immediately turned into stone. Could he feel the ARA of his opponent? Jin Sung smiled, a murderous aura enveloping his whole body. "I'm sorry, I can't help it anymore." "Will you stop me then?" He raised his short sword and aimed at Sung-ho, hoping he could make me happy. Students who didn't understand anything were whispering, "Why has senior Sung-ho been standing still just now? Is it because the opponent is too weak to bother to take action? I want to see the scene where that level F guy gets beaten up too much." Who knows Sung-ho's current situation? In his eyes, although Jin Sung's posture seemed defenseless, there were no flaws. Jin Sung's change was most clearly felt by Ju. "What happened?" "Completely different from the person who just delayed time with me just now. What happened? I always feel that I can't ignore it." She shivered and ordered, "All members listen to my order and attack." Everyone rushed up and pressed Jin Sung down, but he laughed evilly, "You seniors are too heavy." At this moment, Sung-ho came to blame Ju. "What are you doing?" Ju still pressed Jin Sung and said, "Just like you have an obligation to protect members of the team, I also have an obligation to protect my captain." Young-ho said to everyone, "No need to protect me, because Jin Sung has already made a move." Just now when he was about to be suppressed, he quickly swung a series of slashes. They must have some intention. Young-ho looked at Jin Sung, who was still smiling wickedly, and found it very interesting. Then he rubbed his chin and advised Ju, release your ARA before it breaks. With a crackle, Ju's armor shattered. She didn't expect that she would suffer so many attacks in such a short time. The bracelets of others were also broken exactly like that. All the bracelets were broken. Some members suspected that it was because the bracelet was faulty. This is the bracelet representing the competition. Whoever breaks it will lose. Young-ho looked at Jin Sung, who had returned to his hidden appearance as before. Jin Sung smiled happily and sighed heavily behind him. Then praised the seniors for knowing how to cooperate, but it has been more than 5 minutes now, can I leave me yet? Young-ho turned around and said to him, I hope next time we can fight each other without being disturbed by anyone. Ji-sung hurriedly waved his hand, don't say next time, just this time alone is almost dead. Then Young-ho said again, I advise you to prepare well before our match. This is my sincere advice for you. Jin-sung yelled out, wait a minute, senior, there will be no next time. But no one cared about him and everyone left. The head teacher couldn't believe this result and stuttered that Squad 3, Squad 10 Platoon 2-1. In the office, the principal was chatting with his superior assistant. The assistant said, I came to ask for your opinion, have the documents I asked you to prepare been completed? The principal respectfully handed the documents with both hands, here it is. Then the assistant flipped through the documents, stopping at Sumo's page, and asked, is he the famous Sumo? The principal did not hesitate to praise, in any aspect, Sumo is an outstanding student of ours and a pride of our naval school. We see a page full of awards. The assistant felt strange that when he was still in high school, he did not win any awards, but when he went to college, he won awards continuously. What happened? It's a pity that if his ARA rank was a little higher, it would be better, but because he has a level B-, he has won so many awards. When the assistant sees rookie Jin Sung on the last page, he became even more curious, does the Navy also have rookies? The principal explained embarrassingly that he was even worse than 10th grade. He is not even a corporal yet because he begged so hard that I reluctantly placed him in the combat class. The assistant rubbed his forehead. Although he wanted to ask the principal about the situation of all rookies in the Navy, hearing this was even more interesting. Then he picked up the last sheet and asked, is this person's profile on the last page? The principal hurriedly said, yes, but you don't need to look at it. The assistant listened but still looked. Inside it says, when Jin Sung was 8 years old, because of being traumatized by losing his parents, he might not be able to awaken ARA. Later on, he was adopted by his aunt and uncle but was constantly abused and mistreated. At 10 years old, Jin Sung's aunt and uncle were brutally beaten by someone, causing them to be admitted to a mental hospital. On the same day, Jin Sung awakened ARA. The assistant didn't understand much. Isn't it normal for people to awaken ARA at 8 years old? Although there may be some differences, 8 years old is the average time recorded. But Jin Sung awakened at 10 years old in an emergency situation. Usually it has to be a very strong ARA, but this is only level F. He asked the principal if his comprehensive combat ability from 10 years old to now has always been level F. The principal honestly said, I don't know about the previous situation, but since entering school until now, he has always been at level F. The assistant continued to look and his comprehensive combat ability was also level F. Is he hiding his true strength? He put down the document and said, I want to see Jin Sung with my own eyes. The principal was surprised but still seriously replied, this level F student may soon transfer schools. Then he quickly changed the subject by asking, why bring the military system into high school? The naval assistant immediately stopped what he was doing and slowly looked up, frightening the principal. Is it a sensitive issue? Is it a secret plan of the country? The principal hurriedly said, then I don't want to know anymore, just to keep my dog's life. This principal is not stupid at all and touches national secrets. The assistant still replied, His recent question, some places in the north are provocative. We do this to guard against danger, and at the same time we also want to develop some students with strong potential through this system. After fighting with 12th grade and Jin Sung had no problems, it became a topic of discussion throughout the school. When he reached the school gate, he met a 12th grade student on duty for inspection. There was no problem with his clothes, but as soon as he saw him, he was recognized by them. As the only rookie in school, he embarrassed himself. Am I famous now? Embarrassing, a crisp laugh rang out. Why does she look even dumber than I imagined? Squad 1 is really miserable, another person said. I heard that her ARA is a short sword. Does she really have no abilities? Why? Jin Sung replied, can you win the title with that sword? Sometimes the title doesn't have time to turn around, right? This is also something I have to do every time I go to school, another person said. That is being ridiculed. Of course being ridiculed, mocked, Jin Sung replied, it's just a minor part of my school life. Anyway, the main job is still wiping the board and cleaning the hallway. Members of the team saw his change and teased him in turn. I didn't expect you to cause trouble everywhere and last so long. Before, when we were in the same group, we didn't show it like that. Then he took on his role. It really makes me change my view. Jin Sung frowned, apparently about to be beaten again. But before even a fight broke out, a mocking laugh rang out. Haha, it's just a dog swallowing a fly. Ji Sung was too lazy to care, slumped on the table and closed his eyes to rest. Suddenly, a bang on the table woke him up, accompanied by this curse, I'm calling you to wake up, you waste. He hurriedly raised his head and apologized as usual. Looking at the person in front of him, he thought to himself, I'm going to get beaten again. This person has blonde hair. He doesn't hit me but tells me to go get math problems. This is another daily job of his, one leg for odd jobs. My business is very wide, applied to everyone in the class and everything. Such a day also made him very tired. Today after school was over, the homeroom teacher told them a news. Class 11 can now join clubs, and it is mandatory. Jin Sung held the form with great hesitation, not because I don't know which club to choose, but because there is no club for me to join. It seemed that the homeroom teacher could see through his thoughts. If you don't join a club, talk to me. Did you hear that? What kind of rookie use? The whole class laughed. No club wants to accept an F-level person. But maybe there will be a club that sees me as too weak and allows me to participate in their competition, someone said. Also should be. Jin Sung's face was very calm because he was used to these ridicules. But then he couldn't calm down anymore. The list was all military clubs or ARA combat. The others were discussing which club to join. The combat squad became the first choice. Everyone quickly ran outside to get the registration form. Not long after, only Jin Sung was left in the class, immersed in pain. He thought, if only ARA restrictions could be lifted. Is this a club? It's no different from a small military camp. He crossed out each name on the list and suddenly stopped at the second club from bottom up, HT. Not using ARA but mainly focusing on improving physical qualities. This discovery made him happy without stopping, and there was no limit on military rank either. He immediately left the classroom with a smile on his face. He thought this was just a health club, so there must be few people signing up. But when he got there he found out that there were more people than ants. They used the gymnasium to organize friction activities, and moreover people inside were still arguing with each other. He stood behind the crowded crowd aesthetically, probably no problem at all. Anyway, this is also a non-ARA club, but why are there so many people? Did I come to the wrong place? He took out the list to confirm again it was correct, not wrong. But suddenly someone recognized him and shouted, "The F-level senior has arrived." Everyone started talking that senior is a rookie. If judged by military rank, isn't it one level lower than us? Jin Sung realized that most of them here were 10th graders. Obviously 10th graders don't need to join clubs, so why are they here so crowded? At this moment, someone shouted loudly, "The captain came out." Then everyone turned to look. No one cared about him anymore. Ji-sung was a little annoyed and turned to look. Who is the captain that makes everyone so excited? When he saw the person coming clearly, the list in his hand fell. The first reaction was to run away, but the other person quickly walked towards him and called his name. This person was the title who had once fought with him. Jin-sung greeted and confirmed again, "Senior, the title has seen through my thoughts and asked, this club has no one else, even so, are you afraid to join? Did you come to this club because you thought there were few people?" Young-ho said all of Jin-sung's thoughts. Indeed he had thought so. But many people want to join the HT club. Young-ho told him to go in first because this is not a place where anyone can join if they want. He said again, "I'm sure I won't be able to join, I'll go first." After saying that, he was about to run away, but was grabbed by some ho by the collar and lifted up, then pulled inside. The entrance exam is about to take place. You also take the exam with registered students. Jin-sung panicked and screamed, no need, but his scream had no effect. The door was also closed. Young-ho looked at the registered students. If enough, then started the test. The test content is very simple. As long as you can complete this exercise, with me it's considered that you pass without anything big. Complete 30 frog jumps, 30 push-ups, then continue with 30 frog jumps, 30 deep squats. The students below immediately whispered. A few juniors who were fascinated by the title asked, "Senior, will you practice with us? It's so cool, your voice is also good." A classmate was amazed and waited for a while. He said it was in the same group. "I must join this club." But Young-ho said, "You have to do those exercises 10 times in a row and each time will be faster." Everyone heard that and collapsed at once. Jin-sung screamed, "I don't want to participate, round 1 starts." Sungho's voice kept ringing, "Number 2, too slow, eliminated. Number 5 and 6 wrong posture eliminated. You have to follow my movements and my speed." A while later all of Group 1 were eliminated. Someone regret coming here already. Jin-sung was shocked. 30 frog jumps, 30 push-ups, then 30 frog jumps again, 30 deep squats. Once it's already tiring, let alone doing it 10 times in a row. Young-ho's health is really extraordinary. His face is still extremely calm, or rather full of energy. Looking at the test still going on, Jin-sung only had one thought: how can he be so strong? Some people were eliminated, some gave up. The first round of competition ended. Young-ho ignored it and declared right away, "Round 2 starts." But no one wanted to take the test anymore. A classmate next to him pushed Jin-sung out. "Senior F level, you stand in front first." "If I stand in front then there will be a lot of pressure." Jin-sung was already tense, so he didn't dare stand in front. So he struggled, but there were too many people, so resistance failed. He was pushed forward by everyone. The title could only flatter, hoping to escape seniority. Look at him very comfortably. Don't say he's a superhero, okay? Surely we're not just 1 year apart, are we? Title indifferently said, "This is not what you should say." Then declared start round 2. Jin-sung, disappointed, screamed, "I don't participate. But where do I run when my house is on fire?" In the end he was forced to participate. Jin-sung felt like he was going crazy. "Actually for a long time, in order to resist being bullied by everyone, I secretly trained physically, so I'm quite confident with my physical qualities. But in front of the monster title I realized there are things humans can't imitate." Young-ho was very satisfied with the performance of this round. Unexpectedly, Group 2 kept up with my speed. So let me speed up a bit. Ji-sung collapsed, screaming, "No! The others have been eliminated." Standing and watching in amazement at Ji-sung's performance. "Oh my god, F-level senior hasn't been eliminated yet, still following." If only considering physical strength, he is quite strong. The overall combat ability of the senior, is that really F? Jin Sung worked while grumbling, damn it, I always practice at home, but why do I suddenly feel weak? Young Ho also ran out of words telling him not to make noise anymore, focus your strength. Blinked and finished round 2. Everyone couldn't believe it, but also became very excited. Not for nothing is the senior, Young Ho is so good. Senior F level is not inferior, Young Ho smiled, still okay, Jin Sung? Jin Sung didn't know why he kept doing it, why do I have to do this? Sung Ho was also excited, the reaction force from the previous round is not accidental. It seems that the next speed can also be followed, Young Ho said, I said it before, he did it at the fastest speed. Classmates next to him were stunned, so fast, can F-level senior keep up? Ji Sung gritted his teeth and cursed, this person was really right. Then everyone was amazed because F-level senior could keep up with the top person in the whole school. The auditorium became hot when everyone cheered for him. Under the encouragement of everyone, Jin Sung completed the final movement. This is already my limit. He sat down on the ground and gasped for breath. Of all the people present here, only he passed afterwards. The auditorium rang with applause. Everyone congratulated him on passing the test. Jin Sung lay on the ground comforting himself. Not bad, I even got a round of applause. Young Ho reached out his hand. Welcome, you join HT Club. Jin Sung said thank you, I will withdraw from the club immediately. But Young Ho pulled him back. No need to wait until tomorrow, go to the club right away. Jin Sung was annoyed. Senior, did you not hear what I just said? Young Ho added more enthusiastically, together exercise, then the effect will be better. I always wait for someone who can keep up with my speed. Ji Sung pushed Young Ho's hand away. I can't keep up. Moreover, if I do another round, I won't be able to hold on. Didn't you say before that you don't like people like me? Young Ho confidently said, just finding someone alone has cost me a year already. Jin Sung realized that Sung Ho didn't hear what he said at all. Originally he wanted to join a leisurely club for fun, but now it's considered a failure. Jin Sung was sad. I really don't want to go to that club. Because it's a club with only senior Sung Ho, more and more people come every day. You're older, how can you join HT Club? Every day I have to answer countless questions from them. But if you don't go, Sung Ho will definitely come looking for you. At this moment someone called Jin Sung classmate there. Jin Sung hesitated and suddenly startled himself. Looking up at grade 11, there is such a beautiful person. The girl asked, are you a student of this class? Then she took out a corporal rank. I heard here you guys will use this to introduce yourself. Then asked, where is Ji Sung's rank? He stammered, not knowing how to respond. Then immediately excited respectfully reported, I am a rookie of Squad 3 Platoon 10 Company 2. Ji Sung then froze, wondering what he was doing, all because of them. Every day they call me to report that my military rank killed already become a motherfucking habit. Although the girl was a little surprised, she still politely shook his hand and said whatever, also very happy to meet you. I am Saigon Jin Sung. Confused, what are you looking for me? Saigon said, you are from Platoon 10, right? Starting tomorrow, I will also have to go to Platoon 10, Squad 2, Ji Sung reported. At that moment, he realized that she was a new transfer student. So let's help each other out in the future. I still have something to do before that. As he was about to open the door, he was pulled back by Sol, and he hurriedly explained, I have something urgent now, you can go find someone else. But the other party was very determined not to let him go, and even forcefully pushed him against the wall, demanding that he take her somewhere. Jin Sung felt that this person was very scary, so he had to agree to be her guide. So where do you want to go? Sien asked him to take her to find Young Ho. Hearing this, Jin Sung felt like he had struck gold. Huh, why didn't you say it earlier? I'm going there now. At this moment, Sung Ho's voice came from behind. He had come straight to the classroom to find Jin Sung and take him to lift weights. Don't tell me you're trying to skip training. Jin Sung hurriedly explained, haha, I'm on my way there. Cian provocatively asked, are you Sergeant Young Ho? Young Ho saw that this girl was always aggressive and advised her, as an 11th grader like you, you should be more polite to your seniors. Cian ignored him. I heard that this school is based on strength for ranking. You have to be stronger than me to be considered my superior, right? But he also looked at me. Young Ho got angry. Did he need me to confirm it for her? Looking at the two people smelling of gunpowder, Jin Sung was afraid of being implicated and wanted to slip away. At this moment, Cian asked Sergeant Young Ho, do you have a girlfriend yet? It must be said that women change topics too quickly. Young Ho suddenly asked irritably, what is this for? I haven't yet, when Cian said, I knew it as soon as I saw it. I hate straight guys like you the most. Young Ho countered, don't worry. A muscular girl like her, I don't like it. Suddenly Saigon walked towards Jin Sung, smiled at him and said, it's a good thing he said he didn't like me. Rookie, do you want to get to know me? Jin Sung was dumbfounded and didn't understand what was going on. Where am I? Who am I? Saigon used his hand to measure the height of the two people, also look at each other. I like men who are almost as tall as me. This came too suddenly and Jin Sung didn't know what to say. Cian was amused by Jin Sung's reaction and approached him again, rookie, what level is your ARA and comprehensive combat ability? Jin Sung honestly answered all level F. Cian didn't believe it and said, are you lying to me? How can such a person exist in this world? Jin Sung frowned, why? No one believes me when I tell the truth. At this moment, Sung Ho interrupted, we have to go practice now. So you better get out of here. After that, Jin Sung thought he had been released, but Cian followed him all the way to the practice room. Why are you here? If you're here, then save me. Cian was indifferent. We've only known each other for so long and you're already asking me to save you? That made Jin Sung feel like going crazy. Women really turn their faces fast. Just now, when asking someone for directions, where did this attitude come from? At this moment Cian turned around and asked Sung Ho, why do you have to train with this person? Isn't he just a rookie? This hit Jin Sung right in the heart. Young Ho told her, this has nothing to do with rank, he's a handsome guy. She's lonely, so she wants someone to lift weights with. But Cian didn't believe it and thought Sung Ho had a motive for hiding something. Or did she see some potential in his body? He addressed her with a frown, this girl is too smart, but according to Tu Mai's theory, smart people usually don't live long. He woke up and said, I don't understand what you're talking about at all. Are you trying to flirt with him so you're asking so carefully? Upon arriving, Sol walked up to Jin Sung. You heard everything, didn't you? Answer quickly. Jin Sung smiled, did you misunderstand something? I'm just a handsome level F guy. Those words turned Cian into stone on the spot. Is there anyone so shameless as to admit that they are handsome like that? Young Ho pulled him away, if you like playing dumb, then let's start exercising. Jin Sung struggled, Senior, why? He got angry and asked Cian for help, but it was all in vain in the classroom. The teacher told everyone, a new transfer student has arrived, this person is Cian. She just came in and asked where her seat was. The teacher told her to sit in the last row of seats and to introduce herself. Cian didn't care about the teacher and said, I have to go to Squad 3. The teacher told her, Squad 3 has no empty seats. But Cian looked at Jin Sung's desk mate and asked, I want to sit here, can you give it up for me? The other friend was confused, this is my seat. But Cian slammed the table and asked if it was possible. He was scared and quickly stood up and said, okay, I'll sit somewhere else. Cian also smiled and thanked him for giving up his seat for her. The blonde scowled at him, who are you to show off here? I am the squad leader of Squad 3, report your rank and name first. Cian didn't care about him and raised her hand and said, "Sir, I'm sitting here." The teacher was speechless, who added another weird person to the class. "Alright, if you're already sitting there then just stay there." At this moment, Jin Sung was very annoyed and kept rubbing his eyes. Cian was not happy and waved her hand. "You ask the rookie, do you hate me? Why show it so clearly? I respect our fate from yesterday with you, so I sat here. But I didn't expect you to react like this, or should we cultivate our feelings a bit? I could be your enemy pair." Jin Sung was scared and laughed. "Enemies, forget it. I don't hate you, but..." At this moment, the teacher called Saigon to introduce herself. She stood in place. As she was about to speak, the blonde interrupted. "Don't you have to go up to the podium to introduce yourself? Why are you standing there?" Sol didn't respect him at all. "I'm not going up there. Besides, standing here talking you can hear it too." Then she began introducing herself as Sol. "Private First Class Anya is White Jade Fairy. Although I was forced by my family to transfer schools, I hope to grow up with you guys in the future and help each other a lot." After that introduction, not only the students but even the teacher were surprised. "What is White Jade Fairy of the Kim family?" She immediately became the focus of the whole class, causing everyone to whisper and discuss. The teacher called for order in the class and assigned Saigon as deputy squad leader. Squad 3, the blonde excitedly stood up and asked, "Sir, how can a transfer student be a deputy squad leader?" The teacher told him to be quiet. "You're not old enough to rebel." Jin Sung finally understood that Cian was very famous, but she immediately asked, "Aren't you also very special?" For the first time in my life I saw a level F rookie. Ji Sung felt like he had been stabbed in the heart by 100,000 knives and helplessly said, "Please stop attacking me. I am her teammate." On the other side, the blonde looked sinisterly at the new student. "What kind of thing are you?" "ARA, White Jade Fairy of Soul is the only ability that can be passed on. Originally ARA could not be inherited because human souls cannot be identical, but there is a group of people who hope that their ARA can be passed on to become stronger. Finally there was a successful family which is Soul's Kim family, but in order to protect this achievement they chose close blood marriage, which gradually reduced the number of people in their family. Meanwhile, Bok Nok Utin is an A-level ARA, but at the world-class level, it can make its owner summon Bok Nok Utin into battle. But only one person per generation can inherit it, and that person can only be a girl. Due to the decreasing number of people in the family, the Kim family is almost extinct. But the child born in the last generation reached the pinnacle of swordsmanship and surpassed all the remaining people in the clan. She is Cian, who is accepted by everyone as deputy captain, making blonde hair hate to the bone. At lunchtime, Cian invited Jin Sung to eat together, but he refused because he still had to be on duty. She immediately picked him up and said, "I don't have a meal card yet." Jin Sung didn't believe it because he was famous now. Cian said again, "I don't like people like that approaching me. Moreover, everyone just peeks, but doesn't dare to talk to me." But Jin Sung was really helpless because he was very busy wiping the board, wiping the floor, and still had to go get study materials after class. Cian also saw that he had too much work to do, but suddenly realized that this was someone else's job for Jin Sung to do. She immediately asked, "Are you still working for other people? Don't say you're running errands for the whole block." Ji Sung explained tensely, "I just help everyone with my hands. If many people clean the house, it will be chaotic. Don't think too much." Cian was very angry and said again, "Do I think too much?" Just see her fiercely pulling Jin Sung to find those bullies. Jin Sung became more worried and asked, "What are you waiting for?" "I'm really fine." In no time at all, Saigon arrived at the canteen and looked at someone in Squad 4 and asked, "Are you in charge of cleaning and sanitation of Squad 4? Why do you have to order our squad's rookie to work?" Saigon covered that person's mouth again and said, "I don't want to hear your reason later. Do your own job even if bullying someone weaker than yourself is nothing at all. I don't want to say much, do you understand what I mean? If I see it again next time, consequences, you know. The other student hurriedly admitted his mistake and said sorry. Saigon pointed at Jin Sung and said, you should apologize for him having to do so. He hurriedly apologized to Jin Sung at level F. Jin Sung shyly greeted and apologized. Then bother you guys to eat rice and solve everything. Sien turned around and left to find the next person. Jin Sung worriedly asked her, where are you going next? Isn't it done? Sien said again, where else? Of course, looking for a homeroom teacher. In response to Sien's questioning, he appeared innocent and said he didn't know about this matter and assigned her to be in charge of dividing cleaning duties in the future. She happily agreed and Jin Sung beside her felt very embarrassed. When she returned to class, she began criticizing everyone and reassigning cleaning tasks for the whole class. She gave brooms to 2 people to arrange them, 1 person in charge of wiping the board and 1 person wiping the floor. The 2 people were dumbfounded as to why they had to clean up. That's right, level F will use it by herself. The broom stopped both of them from interrupting their words and asked loudly with a stern face, do you 2 have any opinions on my assignment? Which 2 dare have any opinions? At this moment, Blonde Hair came over to call the deputy squad leader. Sien said, Blonde Hair, do you also want to clean up? Blonde Hair seriously said, call me squad leader because you are deputy squad leader. Sien replied comfortably, I already know what's up with Mr. Blonde squad leader. Smiling arrogantly, must there be something before I can call you? I just like calling my subordinates. This action of his made Sien stun, then ignored the little man and said, it seems that I have to quickly become a squad leader. If there is nothing else, then I will be the first little squad leader. Blonde Hair was annoying, so she bowed down. After school on the rooftop, he had to discuss matters related to the squad. Sien asked Blonde Hair what he wanted to discuss. She asked her, is it pretending to be stupid? Probably guessed it already, right? Sien is not worried when she sees many enemies. She hasn't provoked them yet. The squad leader is also quite good, knows a lot, right? Blonde Hair is pleased, say something else. You are also a member of my team. But if we talk smoothly, then I won't take action against you anymore. Sien sarcastically said, so, the next thing you will say to me must have many people backing you up. Why? So our squad leader is so embarrassed. Blonde Hair suddenly laughed and said, our deputy squad leader still needs to be disciplined a bit. Sien pointed at Blonde Hair, you want to discipline me based on you. Blonde Hair's face twisted, it seems that I have to teach you a lesson. I will make you regret your complacency later. Sien was skeptical, what are you upset about? Blonde Hair asked back. As a deputy squad leader, shouldn't you listen to the orders of the squad leader? Sien smiled, then you have to try harder than me, smarter than me, or better than me in terms of martial arts or judgment. Blonde Hair was so annoying that he went crazy and shouted for everyone to use ARA immediately. Blonde Hair was pleased to say to someone with special ARA, but these things are probably nothing. Saigon calmly said, no one has this thought, it must be you. Blonde Hair kept laughing until when? If you want to use ARA to cause chaos in school, you will be punished. Especially for someone with high-level ARA like you. But these people are just shrimps and prawns, no matter what ARA they use, they won't be detected. Moreover, he also gathered 15 people to deal with her. Blonde Hair was extremely pleasing, Soul's ARA will appear through the sword, but now she doesn't carry the sword with her, so now she is not much better than this group. The more he thought about it, the more excited he became. Facing such a fight, surely you will be helpless too. Sien said, I will make you regret touching me, stupid demon. Sien didn't care about him and asked, the sergeant's address is very famous in our school. When you see him, what will you guys think? Blonde Hair was annoyed, what are you talking about? Saigon continued, do you guys know my ARA rank? So I have to mention one thing, that is my overall combat ability is at level how many? Seeing her constantly approaching the group of people who wanted to retreat, Blonde Hair was also worried, but he still cheered everyone on. Clearly just empty cheers. Now are you guys scared by someone who has nothing? We have more people and we have ARA left. Don't let her scare us and rush up. Cian shrugged her shoulders. If in a squad-to-squad duel, if you can encourage everyone like this, then it would be great, but you forget all the knowledge learned in class already. Normally a person can deal with 100 people below level A, starting from level A combat power will no longer be equal. Moreover, only when one person fights 100 people can there be a chance of being selected for level A. Normally I always fight 100 people, even if now I can only use half of my strength, but how many of you combined? Blonde Hair saw everyone scared and shouted, what are you afraid of? Even if his ARA is so good, what's the matter? Now he doesn't even have weapons on him all for me. At this moment someone had suppressed their fear and jumped high. If Saiyan doesn't have weapons, then what are we afraid of? Facing the stick rushing over. Cian didn't bother blinking while taking one. Maybe that's good, but your attack isn't fair at all. Then she held his stick and let the opponent exert as much force as possible, but the stick didn't move at all. Taking a little bit after that, he was thrown back towards everyone. Then Cian rushed into the crowd, and after a while they all fell down like wolves into a flock of sheep. At this point they realized that even without weapons she was very strong and not worthy of being an A-level ARA. As for people like us, Cian said, because you guys are easily annoyed like that, so we can't get up to level A. The person shouted in protest, what the hell do you understand? You are the one chosen by God, do you think I didn't try? People like you don't understand our feeling of failure, Cian said quietly. Well, you guys think so, there's no way, but at first my fighting ability was only level D. The blonde was angry, you are level D, don't lie anymore. Do you think no one has heard about your family? You can tease if you want, but say something believable. Cian said helplessly, obviously I'm not a sword lover, but ARA turned me into a swordsman, what should I do? Of course, I can only accept it. Everyone feels unbelievable, but Cian continued, surely you will deny my efforts, but even if you deny it, it doesn't matter, because now every second, every minute someone recognizes my efforts. Everyone was provoked and rushed to hit her again, but the result was needless to say. Cian looked at the people lying on the ground and said, even if I fight barehanded, you guys are not my opponents. The blonde originally wanted to use those people to disturb Cian, but he underestimated her strength. Now only he is left because Cian deliberately didn't want to attack her captain. The blonde was angry and said, no matter how many shrimps are gathered together, they are not as good as a big fish. Cian asked him, now just solve it for you and it's done. He said arrogantly again, it seems that there is no way out. Let's end it quickly then. Stupid demon. Cian was annoyed and said, does he have any other way? If so, I have to be more careful. She didn't hesitate to make a move. The blonde really had a plan beforehand. This time he's done. Demon, what I know. You always try not to hit someone else's face because you're afraid that if the wound is too clear it will be punished. So he deliberately pressed his face against Cian's fist and made her change color. Unexpectedly, his trick was to actively let her hit his face, but she didn't mean to stop. It seemed that the blonde had seen his humiliation plan succeed. Cian would definitely lose points and might even be expelled from school. When he was happy, a hand stopped Cian's attack again. The person who rushed over was Jin Sung. He stood near the blonde and said, your beautiful nose would have broken in a moment. The blonde squad leader was very angry. His humiliation plan was ruined by this guy. He asked why he was here. Jin Sung stepped heavily on his hand and said with his mouth, squad leader, are you okay? The blonde became even more angry and asked Cian if she brought this waste here. Cian pointed to Jin Sung and said, "Why did I bring him here? He sneaked after me." Jin Sung turned around and left in pain. "Why am I not welcome? So miserable." Saigon suddenly thought of something just now, that she only focused on the blonde, but now thinking carefully she realized that Jin Sung could fly from the rooftop door to here in such a short time and still block her fist without any harm. How can an F level do these things? Ji Sung changed the subject. "Oh my god. It's dark already. Let's go home." The blonde pointed at the two of them and said, "If I use my captain's identity to talk about this with the head teacher, then both of you are done. Get ready to drop out of school." Jin Sung ran out of words. "I didn't do anything wrong either. Moreover, I also protected you. Shouldn't I be commended?" Saigon also said, "Anyway, our lovely rookie has protected the fool that is you. Your dirty tricks have been cancelled because of this." But the blonde still had a final move left. He said excitedly, "In case something happens, I've recorded everything." Jin Sung pointed down at the ground. "Are you talking about this secret camera? I thought it was a lump of dirt, so I accidentally broke it." The blonde ran out of words like this too. Cian didn't care about the blonde anymore, but bluntly dragged Jin Sung away. He asked how he had blocked that punch just now. Jin Sung said helplessly, "I helped you. Why are you still grabbing my shirt?" Seeing that everyone had stood up and was still constantly angry, Saigon shouted angrily, "Don't be angry with your low-level ARA every day. Look at the rookie, it's still time to practice now. Go back and think carefully." After saying that, she pulled Jin Sung away. In the early morning, Jin Sung said heavily, "Because last night I dreamed of that strange dream again." Saigon asked, "Why do you look so pale? Is there anything wrong?" He hurriedly waved his hand and said, "No, just a little tired." Thank you all for watching the videos. Please help me with 1 subscription to reach 1,000 subs for my channel. Thank you very much.